Okay. Today we're going to take a walk. I don't know how far we'll get to go. I may have to turn around. I don't think so. But the grass is really high. Where are we walking? Okay. 0 is on the other side. What a nice bird. Sorry, 0 is on the other side of these trees. This is an old calle, or street path through abandoned pastures. It didn't used to be abandoned. This was a very important road, street, through the mountains. On either side of me, which you can't really see because of the ferns and trees and tall grasses. This also contains a creek, or an arroyo. You can see these water celeries here with the white flowers. I think they're called false celery, something like that. These, I don't know what they're called. Don't quote me. Anyway, old gardens and orchards. Now people have what few are cared for, lightly cared for I should say, have chestnuts. This is a chestnut tree. And over there, also some chestnut trees. The ground is super wet, so therefore the grass is happy and healthy. In the days when people actually lived here, see, look, oh, somebody's built a trough. Don't know why they would do that. Collect water, of course, but why? Not a trough, a dam. Wonder why they did that. There's a plastic PVC pipe in here. Anyway, this used to provide water to the village, and because of a lack of people to care for it, it's more or less lost. It sort of works, but not really. Wow, the grasses are intense. This is the water celery. Now it's drying up, and the grasses are much shorter. Some pine trees. So in the past, I'm told, where I'm walking, this would all be a creek. Maybe seasonal, don't know. Willow wood that somebody has cut. So why am I walking up here is to take a look at the large PVC pipe that comes from a handmade reservoir way up in the mountains. I'm not going there. It's too late, and I don't don't have the energy or the desire, maybe a better word is desire, to walk all the way to the top of the mountain there to see what's going on with the water. So instead of trying to maintain these old streets for walking and for water and for movement of cattle, some years ago, whoop, and I can fall, We as a community, summer people, catch my breath, sorry for the breathing, put in hundreds of meters of, maybe 1,000, more than 1,000 for sure. I don't know, lots and lots and lots of meters of PVC pipe so that the water didn't have to travel broken, unmaintained, handmade canals that are probably hundreds of years old. This tree is here on purpose because my neighbor keeps his horses up here in certain months of the year. And this keeps them from coming down too far. The other thing I do is try to keep his horses out of here, because at some point I will bring the alpacas up here. This is sort of disputed land between me and my neighbor. So I have done silly things like this to keep the horses out. He does this because he doesn't want them to travel past and go down into the town, the village. And so we each have our motives. He's not too concerned about it, but he would probably consider the whole area, except for zero, place for his horses to be. So now we're in the open. Up there are pastures, abandoned, lost, slowly becoming forest. Same with these, combination of gardens and pastures that are lost to nature, or in the process thereof. It's also home to the boar. Depending on their movements, they will be here too. Not during the day, but at night there's action through here. Okay. Sorry, not as soon. Oh, I want to see. I have another block up here. I want to see that stick. Yep. See, my neighbor hasn't been up here to realize I have drawn some barbed wire. Look, this is the work of my neighbor, knocking down a wall so his horses can enter. But not noticing that I have barbed wire here. The stick is here to warn people so they see it. Alright, so we're now leaving the disputed territory, and this is old reclaimed rusty barbed wire that I'm going to find a safe place to cross up here a bit. I mean, so could the horses go here too, but right now they have so much to eat, I don't think they're too concerned about crossing this to go. Whoop. There we go. Sorry for the poor camera work. Yeah, I put this here in case somebody were to come up here, they wouldn't be surprised by a almost invisible piece of barbed wire. Okay, these are pastures his horses use. They're not abandoned, and they're pretty well kept. It's drying out here. It's mid-July, so things are browning, and depends on the water. I'm going to go investigate. There's some natural water here, and there is this, in Spanish they call goma, which is just a giant PVC pipe. I'm curious as to why the water was cut. The water that goes to the boys' pasture. Some of it comes from the ground, and some of it comes from here. Ah, how interesting. So this is for his horses. I wonder why he turned it way down. To conserve it. I'm not quite sure why he would conserve it. And this little trickle eventually leads to the boys. I'm going to give a little more water. So the way this village works, like many villages that are mostly abandoned in Spain, is that these pastures belong to various families. And the various families left. And their children and grandchildren have no cattle, of course. They don't live here anymore. They're in the big cities. And so those that are left behind and stay here, whether they're old guys and gals or middle-aged folks, and they want to have livestock, they will claim, use, squat on the family's pastures. And since the families only come a couple of weeks of the year and maybe don't even remember where grandfather's pastures were, or pasture, might be a single pasture, those that stay behind sort of slowly take possession of them, at least in their minds and hearts, maybe not on paper. And so my mission is complete. I don't know why he slowed the flow of the water, but again, like he considers himself sort of the steward, if I put it in a nice way, of these lands, although he uses each and every piece of land that is usable, and just sort of does whatever he feels is best for him. A lot of psychological stuff going on there. It's sort of loner mentality. My neighbor stayed, everybody else left. He sort of just took possession of everything. And then I show up, and I have my own plans. So good, I'm going to walk back. This is a very long video, probably quite boring. And there are pastures like this, 4 or 5 more that way. And way more going down to where the boys meet. Where the pastures meet the boys. And good. I'm going to bring a little bit more water to my pastures for the ones I'm renting from people. And now I'm going to walk to the girls. We're just above the girls in a, wow, so it goes through here, and eventually down to the boys' pasture. No, it's dying out here. No wonder there's none coming. By the time it gets to here, it's done. Okay. All right. Okie doke. That's truly it. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Just to give you some perspective, it's a really, I'm sure you have I need an aerial for you to see. All right. See that giant oak tree? Oh, 2 or 3 giant oak trees. And the white horse tape. We're in Escoba land. I just left you in between where I am now And Escobar is a densely forested that has a single sort of path through it, very small garden pasture that's become wild plum trees and wild cherry trees, very narrow, very hard woody fruit trees. And on the other side of that is the horse pastures I just left. So between where I am now in Escobar and the horse pastures is a dense forest of fruit trees, wild fruit trees. And mine, a friend of ours, whatever. These are Fernando's pine trees. Okay, so, and here is Zero. And there are the gals. I left them in the forest, and here they are. Tummy's full of leaves, I imagine. Alright, so I'm going to close the forest and head home. Alright, now for sure, so long. Maybe someday this will all make some sense. This crazy land. My friends who came to visit from Canada just, even though they walked it, couldn't put it together in their heads. Alright, super good. Adios.